Welcome to Sweet Choices, the deep dive into the world of sugar substitutes that promises to change how you think about every packet, every drop, and every sip. If you have ever stood in the grocery aisle staring at a wall of sweeteners, wondering which one is actually better for your health, you are in the right place. Over the next 30 minutes, we are going to explore three of the most popular sugar alternatives on the market today. We will look at Healthy JUAL Liquid Stevia Sweetener, a product that combines the natural power of stevia leaf extract with a touch of sucralose. We will compare it head-to-head with two giants of the sweetener world, Splenda and Crystal Light. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly what is in each product, how they affect your body, and which one might be the smartest choice for your lifestyle. Let's start with a simple question. Why do millions of people around the world use sugar substitutes every single day? The answer comes down to three major health concerns. First, the global obesity epidemic. The World Health Organization has identified excess sugar consumption as one of the leading drivers of weight gain, type 2 diabetes, and metabolic syndrome. Second, the rise of low-carbohydrate and ketogenic diets, which require people to eliminate sugar entirely while still enjoying sweet flavors. And third, the growing awareness that artificial ingredients, food dyes, and chemical additives may have long-term health consequences that we are only beginning to understand. In fact, the Harvard T.H. Sands School of Public Health notes that the average American consumes about 17 teaspoons of added sugar per day, far exceeding the recommended limit of 6 teaspoons for women and 9 for men. That is nearly double what it should be. This is where sugar substitutes come in. They offer the sweetness we crave without the calories, the blood sugar spikes, or the metabolic damage of regular sugar. But not all sweeteners are created equal. Some are derived from natural plants, others are created in laboratories. Some come with a clean ingredient list, others hide a cocktail of artificial chemicals behind clever marketing. And this is exactly why understanding what is in your sweetener matters so much. The Food and Drug Administration has approved 6 high-intensity sweeteners as food additives in the United States. These include saccharin, aspartame, acesulfame potassium, sucralose, neotame, and advantame. Additionally, certain steviol glycosides, extracted from the stevia plant, have been granted GRAS status, meaning they are generally recognized as safe. Each of these sweeteners has a different chemical structure, a different level of sweetness, and a different safety profile. Some have been studied for decades, others are relatively new to the market, and the debate over which ones are truly safe and healthy is far from settled. What we do know is that reducing added sugar intake is one of the most impactful changes a person can make for their overall health. The American Heart Association links high sugar consumption to heart disease, liver disease, and dental decay. So finding a sweetener that lets you enjoy sweetness without these risks is not just a dietary preference, it's a genuine health decision. In this video, we are going to take a close, honest look at Healthy JUAL Liquid Stevia Sweetener. We will examine its ingredients, its origins, and what sets it apart from the competition. Then we will put it side by side with Splenda and Crystal Light, breaking down the ingredient lists, the nutrition facts, and the science behind each product. We will not make wild health claims or tell you that any single product will transform your life overnight.
Instead, we will give you the facts, the science, and the comparisons you need to make an informed decision. So grab a cup of coffee or tea, maybe sweetened with your favorite alternative, and let's dive in. Let's take a close look at what Healthy JUAL Liquid Stevia Sweetener actually is. JUAL is a brand that originated in Argentina, where it is manufactured by Elo Calchaquí SRL, a company based in Avellaneda, Santa Fe. The product is distributed in the United States by Winnet LLC, based in Miami, Florida, and is sold under the name Healthy JUAL on platforms like TikTok Shop. So what is in the bottle? According to the product label and multiple retail listings, the ingredients are as follows: water, stevia leaf extract, sucralose, citric acid, sodium benzoate, and potassium sorbate. Let's break each of these down. Water is the base, making this a liquid sweetener that dissolves easily in both hot and cold beverages. Stevia leaf extract is the star ingredient. Stevia, derived from the leaves of the Stevia rebaudiana plant native to South America, has been used as a sweetener for centuries. The active compounds in stevia, called steviol glycosides, are estimated to be 200 to 400 times sweeter than table sugar. Yet they contain 0 calories and have a glycemic index of 0. This means they do not raise blood sugar levels at all. The FDA has granted GRAS status to certain highly purified steviol glycosides, meaning they are generally recognized as safe for use as food sweeteners. Harvard's nutrition source notes that stevia is one of only 2 plant-based sweeteners with this recognition, the other being monk fruit. Sucralose is the second sweetening ingredient. Sucralose is an artificial sweetener created by modifying sugar molecules, replacing 3 hydrogen-oxygen groups with chlorine atoms. The result is a compound that is approximately 600 times sweeter than sugar, but passes through the body largely unmetabolized. The FDA approved sucralose as a food additive in 1998, and it has since become one of the most widely used artificial sweeteners in the world. JUAL includes a small amount of sucralose alongside stevia to create a smoother, more sugar-like sweetness profile, and to eliminate the bitter aftertaste that some people experience with pure stevia products. Citric acid is a naturally occurring compound found in citrus fruits. It is used here as an adjuvant to balance the flavor and act as a mild preservative. Sodium benzoate and potassium sorbate are both food-grade preservatives approved by the FDA. They prevent the growth of mold, yeast, and bacteria in the liquid, extending shelf life. These are among the most commonly used preservatives in the food industry and are found in everything from salad dressings to fruit juices. Now, let's look at the nutrition facts. Each serving of healthy JUAL, which is 1/2 teaspoon or about 5 milliliters, contains 0 calories, 0 grams of carbohydrates, 0 grams of sugar, and 0 grams of protein. The product is labeled as non-GMO, vegan, kosher, and gluten-free. It is also marketed as being free from aspartame, saccharin, and cyclamate, 3 artificial sweeteners that have raised health concerns over the years. The product comes in a plastic squeeze bottle, making it easy to control portions and carry with you. Each bottle contains approximately 25 servings. It is worth noting that while the product is marketed with terms like natural and chemical-free, it does contain sucralose, which is an artificial sweetener, as well as preservatives, so it is not a purely natural product in the strictest sense. However, the combination of stevia as the primary sweetener with a small amount of sucralose creates a product that offers the benefits of both: natural plant-based sweetness with a smooth, familiar flavor profile.
The key distinction here is that JUAL uses stevia as its primary sweetening agent, with sucralose playing a supporting role to enhance taste. This is fundamentally different from products like Splenda, where sucralose is the only sweetening agent, or Crystal Light, which uses a cocktail of artificial sweeteners and dyes. And this distinction matters when we start talking about health implications, which we will get to shortly. Before we compare products, let's understand the science behind the sweeteners we are discussing. There are 3 key sweeteners involved in this comparison: stevia, sucralose, and aspartame. Let's look at each one. First, stevia. Stevia is a natural sweetener extracted from the leaves of the Stevia rebaudiana plant, which is native to Paraguay and Brazil. The indigenous Guarani people have used stevia leaves to sweeten drinks for hundreds of years. The sweet compounds in stevia are called steviol glycosides, and there are several types, with rebaudioside A and stevioside being the most common in commercial products. Steviol glycosides are 200 to 400 times sweeter than sugar, meaning you need only a tiny amount to achieve the same level of sweetness. From a metabolic standpoint, stevia is remarkable. It contains 0 calories, 0 carbohydrates, and has a glycemic index of 0. This means it does not raise blood glucose or insulin levels at all.
For people with diabetes, those following ketogenic diets, or anyone trying to reduce their sugar intake, this is a significant advantage. The FDA has not questioned the GRAS determinations for certain highly purified stevioglycosides, though it is worth noting that the FDA has not granted GRAS status to whole stevia leaves or crude stevia extracts. In terms of safety, stevioglycosides have been extensively studied. The joint FAO-WHO Expert Committee on Food Additives established an acceptable daily intake for stevioglycosides of 4 milligrams per kilogram of body weight per day, expressed as stevio. For a 70-kilogram person, that is about 280 milligrams per day, roughly equivalent to 9 packets of stevia sweetener. Some studies have suggested potential benefits beyond just sweetness. Research published in the scientific literature has indicated that stevioside may help lower blood pressure in people with hypertension, though these effects are generally mild and more research is needed. Other studies have explored potential anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties, though these are preliminary. Second, sucralose. Sucralose is an artificial sweetener discovered in 1976. It is made by selectively chlorinating sugar molecules, replacing 3 hydroxyl groups with chlorine atoms. This molecular change makes sucralose approximately 600 times sweeter than sugar, while rendering it largely indigestible. The body absorbs only about 15% of ingested sucralose, and most of what is absorbed is excreted unchanged in urine. Sucralose was approved by the FDA in 1998 and is now used in thousands of food and beverage products worldwide. It is heat stable, meaning it can be used in cooking and baking without breaking down. The acceptable daily intake for sucralose is set at 5 milligrams per kilogram of body weight per day. For a 70-kilogram person, that is 350 milligrams, roughly equivalent to 23 packets of Splenda. While sucralose is generally considered safe by regulatory agencies, some studies have raised questions. Research published in the Canadian Medical Association Journal found associations between artificial sweetener consumption and increased risk of weight gain, metabolic syndrome, and type 2 diabetes, though these findings may be confounded by reverse causation. Other studies have suggested that sucralose may affect the gut microbiome, though findings are mixed. Third, aspartame. Aspartame is an artificial sweetener made from 2 amino acids, aspartic acid and phenylalanine. It is approximately 200 times sweeter than sugar.
Aspartame was approved by the FDA in 1981 and is found in thousands of products, including diet sodas, sugar-free gums, and drink mixes like Crystal Light. The acceptable daily intake for aspartame is 50 milligrams per kilogram of body weight per day. Aspartame has been one of the most controversial food additives. While regulatory agencies, including the FDA and the European Food Safety Authority, have consistently affirmed its safety, some studies have raised concerns about potential links to cancer, neurological effects, and metabolic disruption. In 2023, the World Health Organization's International Agency for Research on Cancer classified aspartame as possibly carcinogenic to humans, though the FDA has stated it disagrees with this classification. Additionally, aspartame is not safe for people with phenylketonuria, a rare genetic disorder. Understanding these 3 sweeteners gives us the foundation to make meaningful comparisons. Stevia stands out as the only natural, plant-derived option with a centuries-long history of use. Sucralose and aspartame are artificial compounds created in laboratories within the last 50 years. Now let's put healthy JUAL head-to-head with Splenda. Splenda is one of the most recognizable sweetener brands in the world. It was introduced in 1999 and quickly became the best-selling artificial sweetener in the United States. The active ingredient in Splenda is sucralose, the same artificial sweetener that JUAL uses in a supporting role. But that is where the similarities end. Let's compare the ingredients. Original Splenda granulated packets contain dextrose, maltodextrin, and sucralose. Dextrose and maltodextrin are both carbohydrates derived from corn or other starches. They are used as fillers and bulking agents to give Splenda the volume and texture of sugar, so it can be measured spoon for spoon as a sugar replacement. Here is the critical difference. While Splenda is marketed as a zero-calorie sweetener, it is not truly calorie-free. Both dextrose and maltodextrin are metabolized by the body as carbohydrates. A single packet of Splenda contains about 0.9 grams of carbohydrates and approximately 3.36 calories. The FDA allows products with fewer than 5 calories per serving to be labeled as zero-calorie. But if you use multiple packets throughout the day, those calories add up. Maltodextrin also has a high glycemic index, ranging from 106 to 136, which is actually higher than table sugar itself. This means it can cause blood sugar spikes, which is particularly concerning for people with diabetes or those following low-carbohydrate diets. In contrast, healthy JUAL contains 0 calories per serving and 0 carbohydrates. There are no fillers, no maltodextrin, and no dextrose. The liquid form means that no bulking agents are needed. What you get is the sweetening ingredients in a water base, with nothing that will raise your blood sugar. Now let's talk about the sweetener composition. Splenda relies entirely on sucralose for its sweetness. There is no natural component. Healthy JUAL uses stevia leaf extract as its primary sweetener, with sucralose playing a supporting role to round out the flavor. This is a meaningful distinction for people who prefer natural ingredients. Stevia comes from a plant that has been used for centuries. Sucralose is a synthetic compound created in a laboratory. By making stevia the primary ingredient, JUAL gives consumers more of a natural product while still achieving a smooth taste. Let's consider convenience and versatility. Splenda comes in granulated packets or bags, which are convenient for baking but require tearing open packets and measuring. JUAL comes in a liquid squeeze bottle, which offers precise portion control. You can add exactly the amount you want, drop by drop, to coffee, tea, smoothies, yogurt, or any recipe. The liquid form also dissolves instantly in cold beverages, whereas granulated Splenda can leave a gritty texture in cold drinks. From a dietary perspective, both products are marketed as suitable for people with diabetes and those following low-carb or keto diets. However, because Splenda contains maltodextrin, it is not truly zero-carb. JUAL, with 0 carbs and 0 fillers, is a cleaner choice for strict low-carbohydrate diets. Let's also consider what is not in the product. JUAL is free from aspartame, saccharin, and cyclamate. Splenda also does not contain these, so both products avoid the most controversial artificial sweeteners. But JUAL goes further by being non-GMO, vegan, and kosher, while Splenda's filler ingredients dextrose and maltodextrin are commonly derived from genetically modified corn. For consumers who prioritize avoiding GMO ingredients, this is another point in JUAL's favor.
In summary, when comparing healthy JUAL to Splenda, the key advantages of JUAL are its use of natural stevia as the primary sweetener, its truly zero-calorie and zero-carbohydrate profile, the absence of fillers like maltodextrin and dextrose, its non-GMO certification, and the convenience and precision of its liquid format.
Now let's compare healthy JUAL with Crystal Light. Crystal Light is a powdered drink mix brand owned by Kraft Heinz. It was introduced in 1982 and has become one of the most popular low-calorie beverage options in the United States. Crystal Light comes in a variety of flavors and is designed to be mixed with water to create a flavored drink. But what is actually in Crystal Light? Let's look at the ingredient list for a typical Crystal Light product, such as their sweet tea flavor. The ingredients include maltodextrin, citric acid, instant tea, corn syrup solids, aspartame, sucralose, azosulfame potassium, magnesium oxide, red 40, yellow 5, and blue 1. That is a long list, and several of these ingredients deserve close attention. First, the sweeteners. Crystal Light uses not 1, not 2, but 3 different artificial sweeteners in a single product: aspartame, sucralose, and azosulfame potassium. Aspartame, as we discussed, has been classified as possibly carcinogenic to humans by the World Health Organization's Cancer Research Agency. Acesulfame potassium, also known as ACE-K, is another artificial sweetener approved by the FDA, though some consumer advocacy groups have questioned its long-term safety profile. The use of 3 artificial sweeteners in one product means consumers are getting a much higher exposure to artificial compounds compared to a product like JUAL, which primarily uses natural stevia. Second, the fillers. Crystal Light contains maltodextrin and corn syrup solids. As we discussed with Splenda, maltodextrin has a higher glycemic index than sugar and can cause blood sugar spikes. Corn syrup solids are essentially a form of sugar derived from corn. So while Crystal Light is marketed as a low-calorie drink, it actually contains ingredients that can affect blood sugar. Healthy JUAL contains 0 sugar, 0 carbs, and no fillers whatsoever. Third, the artificial dyes. This is perhaps the most striking difference. Crystal Light contains red 40, yellow 5, and blue 1. These are synthetic food dyes derived from petroleum. Research has linked artificial food dyes to hyperactivity in children, allergic reactions, and potential long-term health risks. The European Union requires products containing certain artificial dyes to carry warning labels, and some countries have banned them entirely. In contrast, healthy JUAL contains no artificial colors, no artificial flavors, and no dyes of any kind. Fourth, the format. Crystal Light is a powder that you mix into water. It comes in tubs or single-serving packets. JUAL is a liquid concentrate that you squeeze directly into any beverage. Both are portable, but the liquid form offers more precise control over sweetness and can be used in a wider variety of applications, including coffee, tea, smoothies, baking, and cooking. Crystal Light is essentially a flavored drink mix, while JUAL is a versatile sweetener that can be used anywhere you would use sugar. Fifth, let's consider the overall ingredient philosophy. Crystal Light's ingredient list reads like a chemistry textbook. Artificial sweeteners, artificial dyes, corn derivatives, and preservatives. JUAL's ingredient list, while not purely natural due to the inclusion of sucralose and preservatives, is significantly shorter and more transparent. The primary sweetening ingredient is a natural plant extract. There are no dyes, no corn syrup, and no artificial flavors. For health-conscious consumers, the difference is clear. Crystal Light is a highly processed product designed for convenience and flavor at the lowest possible cost. JUAL is a product that prioritizes natural ingredients while still delivering a great taste.
If your goal is to reduce your exposure to artificial chemicals, food dyes, and controversial sweeteners like aspartame, then choosing a stevia-based product like Healthy JUAL over Crystal Light is a meaningful step in the right direction. In summary, when comparing Healthy JUAL to Crystal Light, JUAL offers a cleaner ingredient list with stevia as the primary sweetener. No artificial dyes, no corn syrup solids, no aspartame or acesulfame potassium, 0 calories and 0 carbs, and greater versatility as a sweetener rather than just a drink mix.
So who is Healthy JUAL liquid stevia sweetener really for, and how can you use it in your daily life? Let's start with practical applications. Because JUAL is a liquid sweetener in a squeeze bottle, it is incredibly versatile. For your morning coffee or tea, simply squeeze a few drops to taste. The liquid dissolves instantly, even in cold beverages, unlike powdered sweeteners that can clump or leave a gritty texture. For smoothies, add a squeeze to enhance the natural sweetness of fruits without adding sugar or calories. For baking and cooking, JUAL can replace sugar in most recipes. The manufacturer suggests that 1/2 teaspoon of JUAL is equivalent in sweetness to 1 teaspoon of sugar. This means you can reduce the liquid in your recipes slightly when substituting, since you are replacing volume with concentrated sweetness. For yogurt, oatmeal, or cottage cheese, a few drops add sweetness without the sugar crash. And because it comes in a small squeeze bottle, it is perfect for travel. Keep one in your bag, at your desk, or in your car, so you never have to settle for sugar or artificial sweeteners when you're on the go. Now, who benefits most from choosing JUAL over other sweeteners? First, people with diabetes or prediabetes. Because JUAL contains 0 carbohydrates and has a glycemic index of 0, it does not raise blood sugar or insulin levels. This makes it a safe option for people who need to monitor their glucose levels closely. Second, people following low carbohydrate or ketogenic diets. On a keto diet, even small amounts of carbohydrates from fillers like maltodextrin can add up and potentially kick you out of ketosis. JUAL's zero-carb profile makes it a cleaner choice than Splenda, which contains maltodextrin. Third, people who want to reduce their intake of artificial ingredients. If you are concerned about artificial dyes, aspartame, or highly processed fillers, JUAL offers a simpler ingredient list with stevia as its primary component. Fourth, people who are calorie conscious. With 0 calories per serving, JUAL lets you enjoy sweetness without any caloric impact. Fifth, vegans and people with dietary restrictions. JUAL is certified vegan, kosher, non-GMO, and gluten-free, making it suitable for a wide range of dietary needs.
Now, it is important to be balanced and honest about the limitations. JUAL is not a perfect product. It does contain sucralose, which is an artificial sweetener. If your goal is to avoid all artificial ingredients entirely, you may want to seek out a pure stevia product without sucralose. However, the amount of sucralose in JUAL is small and serves a specific purpose, which is to eliminate the bitter aftertaste that many people find unpleasant in pure stevia products. The product also contains preservatives, sodium benzoate and potassium sorbate. While these are among the safest and most widely used food preservatives, some consumers prefer products with no preservatives at all. Additionally, JUAL has a relatively small bottle size, with about 25 servings, which means it may be more expensive per serving than bulk sweeteners. And the product is relatively new to the U.S. market, so availability may be limited compared to established brands like Splenda and Crystal Light. Let's also address the marketing claims. The product is labeled as chemical and preservative-free in some marketing materials, but the ingredient list clearly shows the presence of sucralose and preservatives. Consumers should always read the actual ingredient list rather than relying solely on marketing claims. Similarly, the term USDA approved is sometimes used in connection with this product, but it is important to clarify that the FDA, not the USDA, regulates food additives and sweeteners. The product does carry an FDA approval status according to review sources, but it does not appear to carry a USDA Organic Certification. Being precise about these distinctions helps consumers make truly informed decisions. So, is healthy JUAL better for your overall health than Splenda and Crystal Light? Based on the ingredient analysis, the answer is a qualified yes. Compared to Splenda, JUAL offers a natural primary sweetener, truly 0 calories and 0 carbs, no fillers, and non-GMO certification. Compared to Crystal Light, the advantages are even more pronounced. No artificial dyes, no aspartame, no corn syrup, and a much shorter and more transparent ingredient list. The combination of stevia as the primary sweetener with a small amount of sucralose creates a product that delivers the best of both worlds, the natural, plant-based sweetness of stevia and the smooth, sugar-like taste that sucralose provides. This makes it an excellent choice for anyone looking to reduce their sugar intake without sacrificing taste or loading up on artificial chemicals. Ultimately, the best sweetener for you depends on your individual health goals, dietary needs, and personal preferences. But if you are looking for a liquid sweetener that is 0 calorie, 0 carb, non-GMO, and primarily plant-based, healthy JUAL is a compelling option that outperforms both Splenda and Crystal Light on multiple fronts. Thank you for watching Sweet Choices. We hope this deep dive has given you the information you need to make a smarter, healthier decision about your sweetener. Remember, the most important step you can take for your health is to reduce your overall intake of added sugar. Whatever sweetener you choose, make sure it is one that supports your health goals, not one that undermines them with hidden fillers, artificial dyes, or controversial chemicals.
Read the labels, know your ingredients, and sweeten wisely.